Greetings, beautiful souls. My intro is not working, and so I'm trying very hard to be patient while this plays, and it's not playing. So I've got Dr. Dani backstage, and let me try to start this again because I'm a little flustered this very second. All right, so greetings, beautiful soul tribe, and welcome to the Cosmic House of Healing. I'm your host, Lady Spellbreaker, and today we are honored with a very special guest, my lovely astrology teacher, Dr. Dani, the physician astrologer. Dr. Dani has a unique background blending the science of medicine with the sacred wisdom of the stars. She is a pioneer in 13 sign true sidereal astrology, teaching directly from the live sky above us. She is also the founder of Stellar Foundations, author of Ophiuchus, the 13th sign in the astrology they don't want you to see, and she's working on even more groundbreaking books. She also brings in sacred geometry and the golden phoenix angles, 5D coding, Venus transits, and even the messages of Comet, 3-Eye Atlas, and more. You can find her powerful teachings on YouTube and Facebook under Dr. Dani, the physician astrologer, as well as on her website and her Stellar Foundations astrology program. So settle in, open your heart, and let's explore the wisdom of the cosmos with Dr. Dani. Welcome, Dr. Dani. It's an honor to have
Hi,
you on
everybody.
the show.
Yay.
I've learned so much from you this year, and I wanted to have you share some things you're doing for the 13 Sun Astrology community with my viewers to unite even more souls.
Of course.
I know we
Thank
have
you
a
so
lot of
much.
excited
Yes,
people
thank you
here.
so much for having me. You were on my
You're
channel
welcome.
just a couple weeks ago. We had a great conversation. We talked about Venus. And then earlier today, we were both at the International Sidereal Astrology Association's first annual conference, and it was a webinar conference. We someday hope to make it a live conference, but there were over 200 souls registered, and we consistently had about 70 people on during the call. I was one of the keynote speakers, and I did the last presentation, and I just showed everybody the research I was doing on the golden phoenix angle. I bring it up in my presentations from time to time, but the actual where it comes from and what does it mean to me, I've been sort of saving it for this event because I figure the best audience for this are my fellow astrologers who may, resonate with this, especially some of those of you that also do numerology. And I think it went really well. I did feel a little bit rushed. Like I said, if I'd had more like an hour or maybe like 75 minutes, I think we could have really gotten a little bit deeper into it. But it was a lot of fun. It didn't feel like 5 hours at all. It felt like it was just flowing. Everybody was really into it. It was a really quick and wonderful time. I saw you in the chat talking.
It was great. I was over here listening for almost the whole time until my nephew got here at the very end. So it was divine to be there. It was really great. And I know you said you don't have a presentation, but if there's anything else you want to share now that you wish you could have done earlier, feel free to do it because we got the after parties here. We're streaming to both my channel and Dr. Dani's channel. So we're doing good. Welcome, everybody. If you want to say hi to anybody in the chat.
Yeah, let's see who's here. We have Desiree's here, of course. Thank you, Desiree. I saw you in the chat too at the event. And then we have Lori. We have Ultimus. Excellent, excellent. And Sosa. I see Sosa. Oh, she got deleted. Ooh, Desiree. I didn't even see what he was saying. Oh, baking soda, peroxide, lotus fingers, Philendifa. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Oh, bots be bots.
It's wild energy these
That's
times.
right. That's right. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think we could do a little bit of a just kind of a debrief on that meeting, if you want to. Like, what were your thoughts during the time that you were observing? I really got a lot out of Gary's presentation. I missed half of Athens, but
yeah, I really like a lot of the Vedic stuff. I started going into Vedic about the same time I found the 13 sign. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, there's a whole nother system over here in India. And then I started I got the star, it's Sky View app is the first one I got.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started looking. And so I really love how many different viewpoints there are, and that we can all have these radical different ways and still flow it all together. The
Mm-hmm.
different house systems, the different everything, like being able to have, like, I actually switched to the midpoint boundaries or host signs, and I didn't like that. It like totally changed my first house. So I switched back. So I loved hearing the different views on the whole view of everyone. But the Vedic astrology, I think, is very important, but I think it's also a lot deeper when it gets into the nakshatras and things.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen like a lot of people talking about like KRS channel. They're pretty accurate in predicting things. And then you were talking about that recently too.
Yeah, KRS is a great resource. When I first started listening to him, it was like listening to Chinese. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, ugh, but I love his delivery. He just seemed like a really beautiful soul. And like a moth, I'm attracted to people that can like, articulate well. And he was making some pretty interesting and I could tie into what he was saying when he would say the fifth house from your first house ruler. I was like, fifth house from my first house ruler. Okay, I know where that is. I can do that. And then I can start to click in with what he's saying. And so over time, maybe after 2 or 3 months of just listening to his work, I was able to kind of tap into what he was starting to say. And it makes sense to me on sort of like a soul level. Like I understand it, but I don't know if I can articulate it. And I definitely don't understand the nashaktras, but we're all learning.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
I
we have.
enjoy it when he comes out with a new video. Yeah, for me, for the houses, like I briefly mentioned, is I like the 12 houses, and I like them because it's it I think where it came from was Egyptian, if I'm not mistaken. Like the whole fusing of the signs with the houses was done by Vedic astrologers and Hellenistic astrologers because of ancient Egyptians and the way that they worked with the sun and the moon. So I like that it's all together in one little neat little thing that you can twist and turn and everything like that. But I don't know that I mean, do we need some sort of standardized house system? I don't know. Let's get the sky figured out first. Like, what kind of astrology are we doing? And that I think is thing one. But for me personally, like the 12 houses perfectly divided is nice. There's a symmetry to it. You can put Ophiuchus in the 8th house. I think it fits there fine. I don't think you need a 13th house or a 9th house or anything like that. I kind of subscribe to the way Michael was sort of describing how he sees the sky, because they're stacked on top of each other, right? You've got Ophiuchus and then Scorpio, and then on either side you got Libra and Sag. So it's not like you can say here ends Scorpio and here begins Ophiuchus. They're the same arc of the same story, just sort of like the beginning versus the end of it, I would suppose, or one part of the cycle versus the other.
Yeah, actually, right now the moon is like literally in the Scorpiucus,
In the heart of
in the
Scorpiuchus, yeah.
zone right this second. So
Yeah.
I actually looked today, and it was just passing Antares, so it's like right there at the borderline of Scorpio and Ophiuchus for this
Right
ending
there in
of
the
the
middle.
999.
Yeah, this is my favorite moon. I always feel really good when I have this moon because my North Node's here. So it, sort of sits there between Neptune and North Node. And I get a lot of great downloads and ideas and, things like that during this time.
I think I do too. That's where my Neptune's in Ophiuchus and my midheavens in Scorpio. So I literally like can feel an energy shift, like where I need to go away from people so I can hear internal guidance better and turn off all the noise to focus.
Yeah, yeah. What I feel is just a very fine vibration, and then my ears will start to ring. And then I know I'm getting into like the space. So yeah. And
Yeah.
you need quiet, otherwise you can't hear that ring. You can't hear it.
Yes, and you got to be tuned in. You can't just say, "Oh, that's an annoying ring." Like, what is this ring trying to tell me? You got to be like in tune with your body.
100%. I'm actually having quite a bit of it's interesting. I'm having a lot of pain in my hands right now. And I really thought it was just from over clicking and over PowerPointing. But I'm starting to think that maybe it's you know how I've told you guys before that I think that asteroid Lilith describes our physical pain as a sign of from our intuition, not Black Moon Lilith, but the actual asteroid. And mine's in Gemini. So I'm like, all right, is my body trying to tell me something I'm not listening to? You know? So I did a little exploration on that today, and, this is I'm just being really personal and vulnerable with y'all. I think I am trying to grab onto something that is slipping away from me that's supposed to slip away, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, there's an energy of identity and the doing that I feel like I'm being called to sort of, like, let go of, and it feels safe to hold on to it, and I think I do it in my sleep, actually.
Mm.
I think I'm doing, like, this stuff in my sleep.
That's funny. I'm looking for my book by Louise Hay that tells you the hands, the metaphysical causes for pain.
Okay.
And so, what rules the hands in astrology?
Gemini.
So that's interesting. I'm interested because my hands have been hurting. My knuckles have been swollen. And I'm
Mhm.
wondering if I'm supposed to get the same message. I've been like drawing back actually from a lot of things lately.
Yeah, me too,
And
and even the
so,
things I do to, like, soothe myself when I'm quote unquote "bored" or whatever require my hands. Like, I
yeah,
need to hold my phone, or I need to hold my pen, or I need to do my puzzles or whatever, and now I'm like, I can't. I
yeah,
can't, it hurts.
yeah. And so
So,
maybe that is the message.
well,
Like
yeah,
as
like
you said earlier.
spirits grabbing my hands and going like this. I mean, I barely eked out a presentation that I'm gonna record tomorrow, you know? I'm like, "Okay,
Oh
maybe."
my gosh.
How do I teach without presenting is the question that came to me, and so that was very, very interesting.
Mm.
This was early after the conference today, and before this, I had some time to just kind of sit with myself, and I was like, okay,
Maybe you got to do like, yeah, sit with yourself, put everything down and just let whatever's coming to you come to you and just absorb it. Maybe it's like a time to just receive for a moment.
that's hard for me.
I bet it is. I know for a lot of people it is, especially when you've got prevalent signs in your chart where you are the nurturer and the giver and things. Like I've told a lot of people through as we're in Virgo season, make sure if you're so good at serving everybody else that you're doing as good serving yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, I do, and my husband is so good at that. He's so good at like, can you make sure we take care of you right now? And he is very good at that. But yeah, he leaves me unsupervised, and I'm like, click, 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 doing, and I think I have to like stop. But what do I do?
I don't know.
I
It's
don't know
almost like
either.
you've got a channel of information coming through that this is how I felt it's coming. It's like sometimes I find myself just typing on my phone and all this information's coming out and I'm not even sure what to do with it sometimes. And then there's an instance where it all disappears just suddenly. But I think maybe we're supposed to get it out of us, but it wasn't supposed to. Maybe it's some type of release for us, but it really wasn't supposed to go anywhere. It was just
Maybe.
supposed to come out.
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like the more I try to output, the more pain I have. That's the thing too. So I'm just sort of trying to use you as a sounding board to work this out, but I think it is to just hold something, to receive something, not
Mhm.
to grasp it, not to, try to give it away, but to just hold it. Yeah.
Receive it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially if you're a giver. This is where you lay in Shavasana pose, corpse pose in yoga, and just lay and just let your entire body relax and just receive it.
Have you ever laid in shavasana too long?
I don't think too long. I have complex PTSD, so my being still actually comes hard. If you see me fidgeting around and
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
it's because I've got like complex PTSD that I'm healing. Because my daughter, I found her dead on the floor 5 years ago, and it
Mm.
really like shook my entire nervous system. A lot of people don't know that, and I don't tell them the actual facts of it. But like sometimes my anxiety still gets
I
real
can't even
high.
imagine. I'm trying to imagine that right now, and I'm beyond words. How old was your daughter when that happened?
She was 22, It was during COVID on 9/9 of 2020, which if you add that up, it's 22. She was 22 of a fentanyl overdose. And I found her right here on the floor. I just got covered in chills. And yesterday was really a rough day. So thank you for asking me that. Sometimes I look like I'm doing really great. And
You don't have to fake it. I look like
I'm
I'm doing
trying
really
to
great
be
all the time, and then
authentic at
there's
the
some days
same
where I'm
time.
like, yeah, we just do
I'm
it. We just get
still a
through it.
woman who lost her child. So it really takes my breath away sometimes still.
It's definitely, and I can imagine the PTSD. Yeah, but you speak with her, yeah,
Yeah, I do. I
yeah,
do. And I got her all over the place here.
and oh man, she's in a much better place.
Yeah,
I'm
she
almost
really
jealous
is.
of people that get to go like what's over there? What do you know? Like tell me everything that you see. I just yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I really have a feeling she's going to start coming to me in my dreams. I think the trauma of the event has actually jarred my brain. And I've been looking at what grief does and to the brain, that it like closed me off a little bit, maybe to protect me, because our mind is that powerful
Mhm.
and amazing. Our bodies are so amazing to protect us. But at the same time, I like really want to see her in my dream. Like, I just really want to
Just
see
touch
her.
her and
So,
hold her one more time, yeah.
yeah. So I think that's why I want to do fasting and things that help us tune in, because I've got a midheaven Scorpio and I'm really tuned into the spirit world on many levels. But like, I think the traumatic event kind of, I didn't mean to make this about me.
Oh, no, darling, it's fine, it's fine. Like I said, it's fine to be vulnerable, and I bring that out in people sometimes when we're one-on-one.
Thank you.
It's my bedside manner. I'm like, "Oh, thanks for sharing." No, it's good.
Well, because you're such a healer.
I have Ophiuchus in my, I have, like, North Node in Ophiuchus. I'm I feel like I don't know, like, my chart, I feel like I am, like, a way shower. You know, I am a lot harder on myself than I am everybody else in the world. Like, I hold myself up to such a high standard that, there isn't much that I will let like, if other people do that I get upset about. So, yeah, no worries. You be
That's
you.
good. You're real chill. You're an amazing teacher, by the way.
Thank you so much. I enjoy it. I think I'm meant to do it. The Latin root for doctor is doctore, which means teacher, which is why I was drawn to it because the people that would teach me, I as a young girl, like the people that could teach me and guide me, man, I was magnetized to them. It would be like even if I would just watch them on YouTube. There's a gentleman on YouTube called Brian Scott. He's the Reality Revolution. He's got almost like 800,000 followers right now. And when I first started watching him, he was 30,000. And I've tried to reach out to him before. I've tried to say like, "Hey man, you are my rock in the mist." Because his meditations, his activations, his everything, he inspired me to step forward with what was being revealed to me through meditation and revelation and visions. And I thought I was crazy. And some of the stuff that he talks about, it's like, "Oh, you know me. Okay, this is so good." Um, so that person has been very much a influence in my life and a teacher. So check him out, The Reality Revolution.
All right, let me write.
Definitely a wonderful, wonderful channel. When you listen to him and then you listen to my meditations, you'll see where the influence comes from, for sure. Um, and that was like one of the first things I ever wanted to actually record on YouTube was meditation.
Well, I
Like,
think
just a
you should
guided
go.
meditation, and so that's what I did. I basically did kind of, those little pyramids, and then I would do a meditation with them, and I would play music that I created, and it was beautiful. I was like, "This brings everything together. I'm learning, and I'm using my art, and I'm embodying these archetypes," and it was so cool because, um, like, every time I would work with, like, one particular archetype, my subconscious would just sort of pick it out from my field, and I would be in the orb or in the space of that particular archetype, like with the Saturn energy when I was trying to figure out what Saturn was all about, the metals, the gems, the frequencies, everything that would go with Saturn. Saturn would just show up in my in my everyday, and be kind of like a teacher guiding me and talking to me, and it was so cool. It was such a cool journey for me. And so when I said, okay, now I need to step out and I need to show people what these planets and these archetypes mean, I just did, one class at a time, and just invited whoever was interested in hearing what I had to say. And it built stellar foundations, because now I had this record, and now I had the class. And so each time I did that, and the plan was really to build a complete program, and it came to fruition. And it was actually Lori, look up Astrology, who was like, "When are you going to do your big class? I'm ready." Just her, the way she is. When are you going to do it? I'm like, I'm going to do it right now. So
Planted the seed.
yeah. Desiree was bugging me too. So,
Well, it came to fruition, and now you're on a roll. So it went well. I didn't even realize that at the beginning of my when I signed up, which was in maybe early April.
mhm.
April, I didn't have a clue. Lori and I started the Artist's Way 12-week journey. So I did that right before I signed up for your journey, and kind of did them together. And I was on this artist journey already. And then I was having a half Uranus return, and I didn't even know it. And all this shocking, crazy year has been happening of events. And I didn't understand it even until recently, that like, whoa, half Uranus return is happening right now.
Oh,
And then
that the
Uranus just,
opposition.
yeah, it actually went retrograde in Taurus, which is across my Libra right now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so it went like from being straight across to backwards, and then it's going to come across again soon. So I'm keeping an eye on things now real closely.
Yeah, Uranus is about to cross my ascendant next summer.
Oh,
I don't even know what that's going to be. I mean, could be anything.
it could be.
I might dye my hair blue. I don't know. Get a nose ring. Something.
I shaved my head probably like just a few days before Sinead O'Connor actually passed away. I made a
Oh,
mohawk, and then she passed away like a couple days later, and then I decided to just go ahead and shave my head because the mohawk was too much. So those are wild and crazy things you do, and I didn't even check the sky then.
wow.
All
Yeah,
right,
I'm
so
excited to see. Yeah.
I do have some questions if we want to, if you want to go with like an interview flow here.
Yeah, we can do whatever you guys want.
All
We can
right, so
we can
some of
people in
my
the
people,
chat can ask questions too if you
yeah, in
guys
the
want.
chat, if you guys have any burning questions or anything you want to share, we've got English chat with Lorna here and Mr. 13th Sign. Hello, Stock Explorer, just saying hello. Nikki and Desiree and Lori.
Awesome.
I saw Bobby and Sprout Queen.
Cool.
Thank you all so much for being here.
The regular crew.
We got a mesh of both your channel and mine.
Awesome.
All right, so you started your path as a physician. Can you share what inspired your decision to integrate medicine into astrology?
Well, when you work with people, like you see patterns. I mean, you can read the studies in school, and they give you a percentage of how often things happen, but they don't tell you like in real time what that looks like. And so when you do a high volume of patients, you see ebbs and flows of certain things. And especially with the moon and women, okay, because I think there are actually like two kinds of cycles in women. I think there's the Mercury cycle in women, and I think there's the lunar cycle in women, because there are women that only menstruate 3 or 4 times a year, and it correlates with Mercury. And then there's women that menstruate with the moon. Also, births would sort of happen in bunches, so we'd get a whole lot of people kind of ripen up all around the same time. And so we'd be running around catching babies every 5 minutes, and then it would stop. And then we'd be fine for a little while. And then we'd get a bunch of miscarriages, like 3 or 4 in a row. We'll get fetal demise too, like where the baby dies before they're born. We'll get that in bunches as well. So ectopic pregnancies, I see those in batches. So I'm like, this is interesting. And for the longest time, I just watched the tide because I live by the coast. And so I figured, all right, well, maybe there's something with the tide. And there's a diurnal correlation to when the babies that are ready come. There's like a rush of cortisol energy, and they come. So there's definitely something with the sun and the moon, and because if these bodies can move our massive oceans up and down the way they do, surely it could affect the water inside a woman, where 70-80% water, and then when you're pregnant you're like even more, you're like 110% water. you know so I would see all these patterns, and I always kind of tangentially did tropical astrology, and I would always know when Mercury's retrograde. I would always know when the full moon was, when the new moon was. But it really became a passion when I realized they weren't connected, when that all of a sudden clicked for me. Then I was like, no wonder this doesn't really work. No wonder. Because you think it would. I mean, there's a rich history of study and research and writings around astrology, and there's just countless testimonials. There's even a guy back in the 50s in Czechoslovakia called last name Jones, and he created the Jones method, where basically if you know precisely when someone conceived, you can guess the gender, and that fertilization will occur when the current lunar phase matches the woman's natal lunar phase. Like that, you're more likely to conceive when that alignment happens, regardless of where she is in her cycle, like a second ovulation almost. And I mean, we don't really know when ovulation occurs. We can't see that. We can't like go in your ovary and see what's happening. We can do an ultrasound. We see a cyst. That's okay. We can check your labs. We don't know. We don't know when the egg is actually the moment of release and when that fertilization actually occurs. But if you time it just right, if you're trying to get pregnant, apparently, if you know where this angle occurs for you in the actual sky, if it aligns with your natal moon-sun alignment, that's your fertility window. So there's that research. Oh, that was just so fascinating to me. And also, you had to be an astrologer to get into medical school. So now that I have the real sky, there's no reason why I shouldn't be looking up. I should be. I just kept being pulled, like, you need to look into this. And it was very, very interesting because it was right after I was being forced to kind of sit still. Like I just had my hysterectomy, so I was recovering for 6 weeks, and then the COVID lockdowns happened literally right after that. So I was really excited to get back out there and do stuff, but I couldn't. So I was locked down. So I said, all right, I'm just gonna dive in. Since I have to be home a lot and I can't go do things. Spirit sat me down. I was like, you're going to learn this. And just stuff could just come in. And so when I hooked up with my mentor, it was Ike Rodriguez. He's out there somewhere. Really intense process. Like he'll take you through the transformation. And he did. I mean, I went from like knowing nothing about Ophiuchus to literally downloading the Cosmic Healer's Journey. It was in its infancy back then. And that was like 2022. And I was like, wow, all right, I got this. And I even shared with him what I like, oh, this is it. This is the thing. He was like, you shouldn't tell people about that. Because that's too weird and off the beaten path. And I was like, I don't know. I think our relationship's ending. Because something that feels that good and you're the person that guided you is like, you shouldn't tell people that. That'll make you look dumb. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. So anyway, we kind of grew apart, and I actually ended up getting kicked off of his Facebook group because I started my own. I was like, I'm just gonna do me, and yeah. So that was interesting. I have no ill will whatsoever, but I don't really share that story. But
This is a time of sharing, I guess. I shared mine.
I guess so.
Thank you.
So that was the sort of the journey with the mentor. And yeah. So once I sort of got booted, I was like, well, then let me just do my thing. I'll just do my little Facebook group. I think the first 15 or 20 people came on board and signed up with me, and I was like, cool. And so I just did my videos, and then I offered my first class, which was The Moon and Your Health. And it was $10, I think, or $13, something like that. And I had like 10 or 11 people. I say, holy smokes, this is so good. Like now I can, when I have an idea that I want to share or want to teach, I have a place to do that. And people honored me by coming into that space with me, and it helped me like roll everything that I earned from that. I rolled into like creating a platform that I could, use to do the exchanges and to have it all stored. And that's what I've been doing. And then last summer, I think it was before I started Stellar Foundations. I did a couple of summer classes with some colleagues of mine. So I did with Don. He did the house discussion today. Don did the lunar nodes class with me, and then Maria did Neptune with me, and Michael did Uranus with me. So the collaborating was really a lot of fun too. And one of the things that I had envisioned for the teaching platform was to help other people that want to teach a concept that they've downloaded or that they've sort of GONE know. And if they can present it in a way that makes sense, is to bring them through and let them teach with us. Because if I'm not doing any of the work, but I'm holding the space for you, it's really like you get to keep all of that. It's not for me, like I'll take my cut just to hold the space together for you. But other than that, if you guys want to, like, if there's a class or a concept that you're interested in presenting to the general public, I'll guide you through the whole thing all the way. Let's go. Like I'll speak your name, I'll speak what you're teaching, and then people will come. They come to our circle. So it's really a beautiful thing. And I feel so honored that people, are interested in the same thing. Like you're all just kind of, in my orb. So I'm getting I don't know why I'm getting a little emotional.
I'm kind of glad you didn't listen to Ike. I'm kind of glad you went your own way and had a message to get out and you followed your heart, because if you would have listened to one person that said, don't share this, then maybe we wouldn't all be here right now.
Right? Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens. I
Yep.
mean, I'll admit I was certainly heartbroken because I never really thought, like, I thought, we were cool. And then, like that was the idea. I mentor you and you grow up and you do your own thing. But yeah.
Yeah. And you would think he would support you through the process. But
Right. So when I get to that point where you guys are flying from my nest, you have nothing but support and love. And that's the lesson I learned, like there doesn't, we don't have to have an end in sight for our our relationship as mentor teacher, but there is a moment where it transforms into colleague, where like, okay, I can actually come to you for knowledge that I'm lacking in, and vice versa. I'm not here trying to dominate or to like lead a movement or anything. I just want people to know the basics, how to do it, how to study yourself, because I think that's like the thing one. If you can take your real sky chart and you see yourself in there, and that helps you, move along your life in a much better way, then I've done my job. You're doing great.
yeah.
But
I
if you
think
want to
that's
do stuff with it too, like you have a channel, so I'm happy to support you. And if you take off like a rocket and I don't, that's even better, because then I can say, look, I helped her, so yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's
Sorry.
what we're here for, lifting each other up. And like, I think that could be like you want to like nurture your seedlings after they've come to you. And so that sometimes comes more with a woman energy. And I'm just saying that because we're just females in general. And so we have a different vibe usually. So we want to like really, lead our children and
Yeah, for
want to see
sure.
them grow and shine and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, nothing would make me prouder if I saw one of my students on like television talking the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, yay,
That's us.
everybody knows now.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry it went that way with Ike. But,
No, it's all in a lesson. It's all in a lesson.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
even if our paths crossed again, I would be completely friendly and joyful to be in his presence. So
Yeah. And it's all a part of the experience. Some things are meant
Mhm.
to like grow and expand together, and some things are just like part of the
Yeah.
journey, a little part of the journey. So
Yeah, you have your moment and then
mhm,
you do the
mhm.
thing. You do the
That's
next thing.
your mentor for the moment, right? And then
Mhm.
you just either you grow and evolve or whatever. Who knows? Maybe you grow and evolve your own way.
Yeah, yeah. So
All right, so let's see. Let's jump to how you got to 13 sign. A lot of people on my channel might not know that. If I know your people know that on your channel, and if their Stellar Foundation people are here.
so
But
how did I find out? What
yeah,
was my
and
moment?
what drew you to 13 sign, true sidereal in the live sky?
Well, I just was just disgusted with how many people were doing astrology, not looking at the sky. I couldn't listen anymore. I was like, all of you people that I used to love, I don't love you anymore. I can't. Like all of my YouTube spiritual guidance was gone because they would all say the silliest things about the moon. So, and it was one of those apps. I just pointed at the sky on my birthday, and it was not in Leo, and I was really expecting to see it in Leo, and it wasn't in Leo. It was in Cancer. I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, wait, okay. Like that actually makes sense, so and then from there it was just here we are. I mean, everything's changed. It's been amazing.
It unfolded a whole new universe for you.
Yes. I mean, I've always feel like I've been a guided soul, and I've always kind of scratched my head at why people make stupid decisions and they can't see their own like patterns. I'm like, you're coming to me because you're in pain, and I can tell you right now, the thought in your head you need to stop having. Like I could see that, and I'm like, what's an even better way to get at this? Why would I want to say something over and over and over again to one person? Where I maybe said it 100 times and I only reach 100 people, whereas I can say it 10 times on YouTube maybe, and maybe I reach thousands.
Yeah.
With a little something that, I always put a video out there, and I'm like, whoever this is meant for, I hope it reaches them.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to do the YouTube journey, and that's why I went on this, being a public astrologer. And I always have like this like rebel streak, when someone tells me what to do, I'm like, okay, hold my candle. I'm going to do it myself.
That's exactly how
Yeah.
If they tell me I can't do something, I say, okay, watch this.
Yeah.
Don't do that. All right. I'm going to try it.
All right.
So that's how I work.
And they'll be like, did you do that? And I'm like, yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess the next question, let's see. How do you see Ophiuchus as the vital missing piece of the zodiac?
Oh man, it's just awakening to the fact that you're a creator, that you've manifested every single moment that you experience. That's what Ophiuchus shows you. And when you realize that, you understand why it's kind of hidden, right? You understand why not everyone is allowed to sort of know that about themselves, because it's a tremendous power. Your words have power, your thoughts, I mean, even what you think has power. I used to think that my little sarcastic side reel in the back of my head that nobody could hear, even though I was smiling and acting nice. Like I used to think that nobody could hear that. And then it was one Mercury retrograde in particular that I realized that, holy shit, everything that I'm playing in the back of my head is happening. One Mercury retrograde, I got stung by a bee. Just touching my head. The bee came into the building with me. And I think I had some like sarcastic thing in my about somebody that I was parking next to or something. Grumble, grumble. I had to go to work, etc. Touched my hair, stung by a bee on my hand. What? Okay. I had a really harrowing delivery. And this was probably the one that really made me go, you have got to stop and just be mindful. It was a very harrowing delivery. It was twins. And she had come in labor and high blood pressure, water broke. I did a C-section on her at lunchtime. And I wasn't on call, but my colleague was. And she called me, and I had, 40 patients, and she's like, you want to come deliver these twins on your lunch? And I'm like, well, that'll give me about 15 minutes to do my thing today, but okay. You can't just handle it. Cause when you're on call, you sort of do it all, but she was like, it's your patient, so you should come. So anyway, I did, cause I'm like, okay, you're right. It's my patient. I should go. And she was fine, but towards the as the evening hours wore on, I had had some other plans. I was doing things, and I get home and there's a message from my colleague who's still on call who says, "Something's really wrong with your patient. Like she's not good." So like there was some internal bleeding. And I told her, I said, "Well, I can't you just handle that?" Like I would have handled it. So I said, "Okay, let me arrange some things and I'll come in." And in the meantime, she had called my other partner and told her that I wouldn't come in and see my patient. So it was this whole big stupid mess. It was already like horrible from the beginning. And this is all Mercury retrograde. Okay, so you can imagine what's going on in the back of my mind as I'm getting ready to go back into the hospital, and I'm not even on call to handle this situation. And we have to take her back to the OR. We had to evacuate all the blood. We had to fix whatever was bleeding, and that all went well. And then she rebled again in the wee hours of the morning. So I got home around 10 o'clock that night, and I had to get back up at 5 a.m., come back in, blow my whole clinic the whole day, because now we had trauma surgeons in there. They did an additional cut up her whole entire abdomen. She almost died because of blood loss, and she had like 6 surgeries. It was bad. It was so bad. And she was in the ICU probably for about 2 months.
Whoa.
So I had to go see her. But as I was going home from the surgery where we had to kind of fix the complication, I was like, I hope I never have to go back into that abdomen again. Running around in my head, like, hope she doesn't need a hysterectomy someday. And I had to do a hysterectomy the next morning on her.
Oh, man.
So I was like, this is so weird. This is so weird. Why is everything I'm thinking coming true right now? And so that was, and then right after that, they started closing down everything. They started shutting down the doors. And I was like, oh my gosh. All right. So it's all a process, but that was like the one thing that I think really flipped things around for me, was just getting in touch and being mindful with what was going on in my mind.
Yeah.
So even our thoughts create things. Anyway, Ophiuchus, we create everything around it. You asked me that to begin with, and I went off on a tangent.
Yeah. You're all right.
But basically, like that's it. You are creating everything in your reality. You're creating every pain, every pleasure, everything. And just being mindful, being okay with, like I'll catch myself every now and then. I'm like, damn, that was harsh.
Yeah.
Like I don't really mean, I talk to myself all day.
Me too.
I do. I talk to myself all damn day. I'm like, that was interesting. Okay, yeah. Where'd that come from? That wasn't my thought. I'm gonna let that one go. So, but Ophiuchus really is the ascension energy. It's understanding that mechanism that you have. And I think that emotional intelligence is also a big part of it, because I don't think you can mess with this kind of power if you can't handle a little criticism, if you can't handle transformation, if you can't see both sides of the story. For example, Christ is a great example, not the religion of Christian, but Christ the man, or the energy. He said, you turn the other cheek. Like, don't even fight. If someone comes at you, thank them, because they've just cleared some karma for you. So like if somebody comes up and slaps you in the face for no reason, smile, laugh at him and go, thanks. Like you just cleared some I didn't even have to work on. You just gave me a little pain in my cheek. Bless you. Like that's what Ophiuchus can do for you. The Buddha always sitting there just sort of with that content smile, because they know they don't have to strive anymore. They don't have to work anymore. They're done. They can just create. They can just sit and be in the moment. And that's what I'm striving for. I don't know that that's an earthly thing though, because I still feel compelled. I still have karma. I feel like I want to do things. I want to see the grandkids grow up. I want to go see my new house that I bought next week. I can't wait to go see my new house. And then I can't wait to like teach my new classes. And I can't wait for the next round of stellar foundations. And I can't wait for the next lunation. So I don't know. I don't feel like I can let all that go. Just to sit in bliss.
Right. Well, it's hard with a lot going on, and it's hard because we are the part spirit, which is the Ophiuchus aether energy. We are the aether, but we're also in a human body, so we are going to be attached to the physical in some senses, regardless.
Yeah, that's why I love Venus. I just think Venus embodies that.
Mhm.
You're human, you're matter, and your spirit. You're an amazing, unique combination of cosmic knowledge and plasma, and it's all mixed together in this beautiful golden soul that you are, So
Yes. I don't think I understood how deeply Venus was rooted with my sensitivity because, like, I have Venus in Taurus, and Venus is my secondary progress is about to just went into Gemini and then
wow.
barely and is coming back. You showed me that. I'm about to have a Venus star point with my
Oh,
progress
that's
sun too.
right. That's
So,
right.
like, my senses are like on fire. My smell, I've got to touch everything. I've got to have everything smelling right. And I'm like really tuned in with the physical of the world too.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a big part of it. Um, yeah, because you are a body. And yeah, I think that when you can be like okay with things that happen, like things in the news, for example. I don't know, astrology sort of helped me kind of be a little bit more middle of the road with those things that try to distract us from, the light inside of us. Politics will take you one way or that way. Sports will take you one way or that way. Even opinions about healthcare, things like that. It just pulls you. There's arguments on both sides, and you can be swayed. And when you focus on that and you feed that energy, you take away from yourself.
Yes.
And I learned that through, just learning astrology and working with people in their energetics. And I tell you, once astrology started to click for me when I was still doing my everyday 40 patients a day thing, is that everything just got easier. Like, it just got easier. I wasn't, like, frustrated with the same things that I was frustrated with before. I just didn't care. I was like, "This is what it is," and maybe that's maturity, maybe that's growing up a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, this this is just feels like the way to walk when you know your stars, you know?
Mhm. I think that, like, one of the big things I'm learning in the Zodiac and the Salt to Salvation. I told you about that book, but you probably haven't had time to read it yet. And it's a guy, George Washington Carey, says we have tissue salts that we should be taking for each zodiac sign. Well, of course, it's a tropical book. So
Mhm.
Ophiuchus is supposedly the combination of all 12 salts,
Okay.
all of them combined. And so he says we need to be taking more of sun, moon, and rising, as well as the three salts when we weren't in our mother's womb. So for me, being born April 24th, I would be Aries. So I wasn't in my mom's womb through the signs of Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer.
Oh,
So
I
I'd be
see.
deficient of those three where the
Oh,
sun in
okay.
its transit. It's really, I think this book will absolutely fascinate you once you check it out. But it's that he says we should fast from like social media, sex, and food when the moon is transiting our sun sign. So I was going to ask you if you've ever heard it
Oh,
before.
yeah.
So as the moon is going through Aries for me, because I'm an Aries sun, I'm supposed to fast. So if your sun is in Virgo, you're going to be fasting for a few days because
Yeah.
is so prepare for a long fast.
Virgo always is an overachiever anyway.
Good. You
Yeah.
probably good because Virgo rules the digestive system. So it's
Mhm.
good to keep your stomach light so your receiving is clear. Oh, I was going to tell you something too. I got a Venus chrysanthemum in honor of my daughter. Last year, a friend of mine bought it for me. We always do something like on her ascension date and her birth date, which is in August. And so I got this Venus mum, and it didn't bloom last year at all. And it didn't bloom all year this year. And I was wondering what's going on. But now that we're in Virgo season and it's almost Child Loss Awareness Month and we're going in October, it's going to bloom right here in Virgo season
Amazing.
since Venus rules Virgo now.
Yeah, I think energetically, I've sensed that my sun sign is a very sensitive spot for the moon when it's traveling through there. I wasn't sure if that was because it was in opposition to my natal moon, which is I was born a few hours after a full moon, or if it was just because of that's where my sun is. but it's always been like a really like, oh, I'm so triggered on those days, things I get angry quicker, I cry quicker, like just leave me alone kind of energy. Yeah.
I'm trying to tune into that. Like now that you've mentioned that on several levels, because honestly, for the past 2 days, that's what I've been feeling. Just really frustrated, and crazy electronics are changing my words as I'm typing, and the cursor's moving and putting words and letters in the middle of stuff. And I just close it all down and turn my phone off and just walk away. All right. So hold on. Let's see here. Where are we? On this, let's talk about Venus for a minute, because that's where we're at here. You want to talk about Venus?
Sure. I love talking about
Venus
Venus.
and your angles. So Venus is one of your specialties. Could you share why Venus cycles are so important in your work for those who didn't catch it on the ISAA today?
Yeah. So, well, Venus is my chart ruler. So, when I learned that, I was like, wow, let me dive into this. And there's so much on Venus. There's so much out there. And I got Ariel Gutman's book or Guzman's book about the Venus cycle. And I said, okay, this is interesting. It's similar to a Mercury cycle. There's a Venus retrograde, but it's longer. And this is a very understudied like energy. There's nobody out there like saying, okay, this is what Venus is doing right now. This is what you should look out for. And it seems like it's kind of an important planet if we're talking about spirit into matter. And so what I've basically downloaded is by being conscious of the general cycle in the sky. There's a lot of different aspects or different types of Venus you can have in your chart. You can have a direct Venus, a retrograde Venus, a morning star, an evening star, a day Venus, a night Venus. There's lots of different energies just based on her celestial cycle. So it's really important to understand that. And then each constellation and then each house and then each angle she can make with all the different planets and who she works well with and who she doesn't work well with. And so I've just been researching that and flowing with it. One of the ways I like to imagine Venus is, when you think about your sun, you're the sun and you're just beaming your light outward. What's the raw nuclear force of that light, of that third? That's the Venus energy, because it's the golden copulation of like spirit and matter in the same little ball of plasma that you are, and it's fourth dimensional light. So it's your Venus's path to enlightenment. And this comes from Parvati Kumar, Venus Path to Immortality. It's a nice long essay about Venus and differentiating Venus from Mercury's job and differentiating Venus from Jupiter's job. And basically it boils down to this. Her path to enlightenment is to experience the senses and to feel them in the body and to transmit that back to Creator. Because how in the world can Creator know what things feel like? They're not physical. They don't know. And so that's Venus's job. She gets to kind of put on a skin suit and like, ooh, feel it and send it back. And I think that's a beautiful way to think about it. I tried to relate her to a chakra. It didn't work for me because it's all of it. It's all of it. Venus is a different kind of energy in the root chakra than she is in the crown chakra. But she's all so I see her as the flow, the liquid light, the chi, the prana that moves through those gates or those energy centers. And I know that's pretty deep, but that's literally like how I see that energy. And so I've been found. This is my third conscious cycle. It's about to come to a close in January, and there'll be another Venus cycle coming. They're about 20 months at a time. So it's a longer cycle. You have to pay more attention to it. You can't just, oh, is the full moon tomorrow? Oh my God, what do I have to do? No, you can't. You can't do that because Venus will work with Mercury. There's like 4 Mercury cycles in one Venus cycle. And then there are 21 or 20 lunar cycles in there. So you have cycles within cycles with this larger creative cycle. And the reason that you want to watch it is it's an inner planet. It's a planet that's this close to Earth. When we're both on the same side of the sun, it's so close that Venus can actually affect our tides. The same face of Venus will always face Earth when she is on the same side. When they meet together every 20 months, they're the same face. Her day is longer than her year. and she rotates in reverse. So the sun rises in the west and sets in the east on Venus.
Ah.
Yeah. So a lot of cool things about this planet that, just embody the way that I journey with it. And yeah. And so now she's in Leo. And right after that full moon, we're going to have her jump into Virgo. And I have a lot of data points on how Venus is probably the actual true ruler energetically, if we're talking about dominance and domicile of Virgo. I think she's a better energy for that for a lot of reasons, and that Mercury should be more of a Libra energy. Not taking away from Virgo's intelligence or the nitpicky energy of it. It's very important. The details are important for Virgo, but it's not necessarily a Mercury function. There's a great book out there called Venus in Virgo by Stanton. Here it is. This book will trigger you. Venus in Virgo.
Oh.
Yeah. And it talks about basically how Mercury's path to enlightenment is simply to understand, to exchange, to trade knowledge. That's his currency. It's knowledge. It's information. And Mercury and Venus look at things in a very different way. Venus's path to enlightenment is through the senses and Mercury's through knowledge. And I often use the comparison of the apple, for example, or maybe even this chapstick, right? So Mercury's going to look at this chapstick and read everything on the label and make sure that it's safe and read studies on it, just so that he understands the chapstick. Whereas Venus is going to be like, oh my God, this feels so good. Thank you, chapstick. You know what I mean? And so the path to wisdom is a little bit different there. Having Mercury in Virgo's energy. Virgo is like literally, the birthing mother sky goddess, the divine feminine, and all the initiatory energies that she has to go through: menstruation, intercourse, childbirth, menopause, all of the things that divine feminine has to sort of go through, like giving your physical body back to spirit, back to soul, to give to another soul, to be born is like the ultimate sacrifice to source. I feel like a pregnant woman is like I don't know, she's a goddess. That's how I look at my patients. I'm like, you're a goddess holding a new soul in you. And I even drive like everyone else is pregnant. Like when I drive down the street, I'm like, that person in front of me is pregnant. They're pregnant. They're pregnant. The one behind me is pregnant. Because I couldn't even imagine hurting them in any way.
Yeah.
So the divine mother feminine energy is not at all Mercury. Not at all Mercury. And what he describes in that book, Venus in Virgo, is that because of this, we've got medicalized birth. We're not following the natural cycles. Women, before we were sort of kind of subdued, could menstruate whenever they wanted to, could explore the sacred act of intercourse without worrying about being pregnant. She could be fertile whenever she wanted to. And that control seems to be gone. And I don't know what that comes from. Or at least the suffering that goes with it. There's a lot of suffering that goes on with being a feminine, being in a female body, at any rate. Mercury didn't do a good job there, I think. And Venus, to me, likes ecstasy. She likes the experience of going through these initiations, the transformation of going from girl to mother. That transformation. That's more of a Venusian principle rather than a Mercury principle to me.
Yes.
And I like Mercury in Libra because Libra's balanced. Libra went back and forth to the underworld. Mercury went back and forth to the underworld. And he's a mediator, a representative, a concierge. He's just so much more dapper and intelligent in Libra. Finely tuned information rather than trying to overly understand Virgo and the feminine. You can't understand that energy with words, right? You really can't. I mean, unless you're feminine, you go through it. It's something that you can't describe. If you've ever, for those of you that remember your first pregnancy and you had no idea like what to expect, you hear stories because every single woman, it affects them so profoundly.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to share their story with you. And I always tell my first time moms, like, don't listen to them. They're trying to scare you. They're actually trying to help you, but all they're going to do is scare you,
Yeah. And that fear also can, like, that was one thing that was brought up at the astrology thing, is when you tell someone something, did the fear from the astrologer tell them they were going to have a heart attack and make them have a heart attack. So it's almost like if you plant that seed. But I think, like I've learned from you, is that if you see something, you need to tell somebody, but I think it's good to tell them gently, because you really don't know how
Oh, for
somebody's
sure.
going to perceive stuff.
Right. I mean, you look at a chart with a, Pluto squares Saturn, T square with Chiron, you're stepping into something there. There's some wounding there. There's some vulnerability there.
Yeah.
And you can't just say, "Oh, well, you're the greatest teacher ever and you've gone through challenges." I mean, you could say that, but you have to say, "Look, I see here that you may have gone through some of these things. I see that, there's potentially an opportunity for you every month to have to revisit this, because when the moon hits that same configuration every month, you are going through it. You're going through it. And the first thing you need is awareness. And so if you're noticing a repeating pattern in your life, this is probably where it comes from. And what's so cool about just identifying that when you see that is you can become objective about your own sort of challenges that you have in your choice. Okay, well, this is not necessarily here to make me suffer. This is here to teach me something. So what am I to learn? And be
Yeah.
an eager student, be a wide-eyed child like you've never been here before. Someone once told me, wake up every day like it's your first day on our planet Earth. See how your day goes.
Yeah.
It's actually really interesting.
It is. And when we start looking at things like, not why is this happening to me from a victim mentality, but what is this happening to teach me? What direction am I supposed to be going? If I keep ramming, I'm an Aries, so say I keep ramming my head into a wall and I'm not getting anywhere and I'm complaining to everybody, but I'm not willing to, like, back up and maybe go this way or whatever, and things aren't working because I'm not listening. So it's
Right.
really just all lessons. All of it is, I think.
All of
And one
this.
of the biggest things that came to me when you're talking about Venus and the feelings, that I'm realizing with a lot of people, especially people who, like myself, who have anxiety, is that sometimes maybe our feelings are so overwhelming and we don't know how to handle them. So, like, say there's a male body that has a really strong Venus placements, or even Cancerian or Piscean, and he's really emotional, and yet he's going to turn off his feelings because you can't be a man and cry in front of people, or the world's going to think you're just a big baby or something. So we end up turning our feelings off and shutting ourselves down, tuning out not only our true authentic self, but then those very important things that help us tune into things as well. I've noticed a lot of people avoiding feelings on many levels,
Mm-hmm.
myself included, because I'm going through grief. And I don't
Right.
know one person who isn't going through grief or trauma that survived COVID, because the whole planet was affected. Like,
Yeah.
everybody lost someone somewhere along the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't enjoy that time at all because
No.
nobody agreed with me. And I'm right. Like, I look back and I'm like, I'm right. I've been right the whole time.
Mhm.
But at the same time, that whole process taught me that, like, fighting it is actually sometimes worse.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't matter. You're not going to change people's minds. You've got to kind of go with the flow and
Yep.
release that resistance.
Yep.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So let's see. You don't have any teaching materials planned up for a forecast or anything. So
No,
you
we
want
can look
to
at a
talk?
chart and riff on it.
Hmm?
I said we can look at a chart and riff on it if you want.
Okay. You want to? I actually was just looking, but this is on my other computer because I don't have Capricorn Prometheus on my thing. Can you share a screen?
I can. I have to pull it up though.
I was just wondering if you want to share anything about the upcoming Phoenix, or your golden Phoenix angle. Because Venus is actually going to move into Virgo right for this full moon. I was just looking at that.
Right after. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That's going to be my yearly thesis on. Why is it? Okay. My yearly thesis on Venus rules Virgo. It's my favorite time of year.
I'm really looking forward to slowing down from the summer. My summer was crazy. I want to like just chill in my bed and read all your books and read all this stuff. I need to buy the hard copy because I'm a book person. I don't really like reading online. I like no lights in my eyes and just
So this is
real
weird. I
book.
just loaded I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just
It's
loaded True Sky Astrology and I have a tropical chart in front of me. I don't know what happened. I don't know why this is looking like this.
oh,
This is so weird.
there's a glitch in the matrix.
No, I think you're right because holy crap, why is this ring tropical? I'm not kidding you. Let me share my screen. I'll show you.
Show us.
This is Athens software. All of a sudden, it's all tropical charts. Holy smokes, what's going on? Look at that. I'm like, why is Venus in Virgo now? And I don't know
Oh,
why. I logged in like I normally do, and this is what I'm
somebody
seeing.
switched your settings.
I guess.
Yeah, it was very annoying, Desiree. 2020 was.
Equal. Topocentric. Save settings. Uh-oh. Hey, whoa. Hey now.
Oh,
I'm logged in. I don't know what this is about. Okay. Well, I can't do it right now,
okay.
apparently.
Well, hold
So
on. Let's see.
I'm going to figure out why all of a sudden that's all screwed up.
All right. Well, let's see. Yeah. Did you do the trial first? Because
I
that's what it
paid.
was.
I paid for it. I don't understand what's going on here.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, this is so strange.
and that's really too bad since you've already paid for Prometheus.
Right. Well, Athens done a lot for me, so and I've, Prometheus Capricorn has paid for itself over the years just with the classes and the ratings I've done. So I love having it. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out why I don't have
It's all
Mastering the
right.
Zodiac anymore. Like, what is going
It's
on?
all right. You figure that out real quick. And what I can do is I can send this to myself real quick, save it, and then I can email it and pull it up on my computer and see if I can just for this upcoming full moon. Well, hold on a second.
Log out. Maybe I hit the wrong
Thank you, everyone, for the
login.
patience.
Okay. Phew. I think I just used the wrong email on Google.
Okay.
Because I have it now. Okay.
You got it? All
Yeah.
right. So we'll try again.
Holy moly. All right. Cool.
All right.
Here
Here
we
we
go.
go.
This is right now where we are, where I am. Yeah, so unfortunately I can't add the angle of the Phoenix angle. So what I've been doing is just studying sun and moon and then playing with this ascendant because it anchors, like, so for example, I can anchor Venus right here and she'll show up just on the ascendant. And then I can look at the Phoenix point. And the Phoenix point is right, so it's 137 degrees away. So this is 30, 60, 90, 120 if you use the houses here. And then you count in 17 degrees this way. So and I think it's on the first, right? That's what I said. So what you can't see here is this golden Phoenix angle to Chiron and another one to Moon Pluto. And so, I the way that I like to describe this angle is that it's sort of Uranian and Venusian with undertones of Pluto, right? It comes in there and just messes things up. But then there's a nice soothing energy afterwards, like a snap and then a snap back, like a bungee jump and then you bounce right back up. So I think that's what we'll feel. But moon is really quick, so that might be why I've been perceiving it that way. But maybe with Venus, since she moves a little slower, we might be able to feel into this a little bit more. Although it's unfortunately feels like a tough angle to me. Chiron square Pluto. That's vulnerability and power. It's transformation and healing. I think the only constructive way to do this is to literally like just surrender, be vulnerable, uh, allow the sacred rage to come through. Because I think Venus in Leo is going to sort of fuel some of that. She's still Sekhmet over there. But with the South Node, she might be a little tired, so, so just kind of like raw, vulnerable, healing, transformative energy for the first. I told my husband about it, and he was like, "Okay, so we're just gonna do what we got to do that day, and that's it." I was like, "Correct." He wanted the instructions, like how do we deal with that day? So yeah, and then the next time the moon does it, and the way I do it with the moon is I will change this setting, and I'll anchor the sun. And I'll go to the main, and then I'll wait for the moon to move into that space. So that will happen on the 3rd. But I have to back it up. I think that's it. Yeah, 5, 10, 15. Maybe back it up an hour or two. But this right here is the moment of the next Phoenix angle with sun and moon. So I think that's worth watching. October 3rd, definitely. Like what sort of big snappy event, kind of similar to, the tsunami threat, the earthquake, the assassination, power outages, even those little things that sort of disrupt your sort of daily life, that you never thought would be disrupted. Like how the hell did that happen? I remember one time I don't know. I really don't know still how it happened. Is I had a little tea in my car in the console there, and it was open with a straw in it, and then I was driving and my phone slid off and fell right into the tea.
Oh.
Like how does this even happen? I don't even know, So things with phones could be something that could really disrupt you because we rely on our phones very much. So things you wouldn't expect might be the energy that would pop up. That's what I think. Again, this is still a new angle for me to sort of research astrologically, so I can't really predict. And anyway, with astrology, you don't really want to predict anything specific because, again, divine short and enchant long. So if you want something to happen in the far future, and like I think I talked about this when I did the astrology of death, that presentation on metempsychosis, is if you want to predict someone's death, you're not going to be able to do that because there's a lot of layers to it. There's like, where was the sun? Where was the moon? There's a whole bunch of things that tend to converge on one point. In a lot of ways, I see astrology as almost affirming things that have had that were happening, as if it's encoding it from the past. Like here's a written record of things that have happened, and then you can look forward with the transits and say, okay, based on these experiences from the past, we can say that there's going to be an energy like this available. I think that's the best that we can do. I think, yes, you can in some ways do some predictions, but it may be more your own oracular muscle doing it than the astrology itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was intrigued as I'm really learning the aspects. I'm glad you brought that up because not even just predicting, but like I do a little bit of one-on-one training with Julie and Maria, which I started before I started Stellar Foundations.
Mhm.
And I asked them if they could give me a look at my daughter's birth date and her death date to see if there was some type of transit that occurred at the time, and just to give me help me see maybe something that I hadn't seen. And it's amazingly good that you said stuff even with aspects, but also one thing I've noticed with retrogrades is the day Kayla ascended was 9/9/2020, which is all double numbers, and she was 22, and her death time was 1919.
Wow.
And then so she got my attention with the numbers, but it was also Mars retrograde. So I was out there screaming at Mars, what in the heck just happened? Wondering what in the world really just happened during COVID it was.
Were they able to sort that out? So you think it was Mars retrograde?
It wasn't just Mars. There was actually some aspects. You were talking about the Plutonian Scorpios, the
Hmm.
people with Pluto and Scorpio, and
Hmm.
that was my daughter. So
Okay.
you when you were teaching that through Stellar Foundations, it really resonated with me because I
Yeah.
was like going to look at her chart so I could follow along as you were teaching, and you were
Yeah.
saying they were a special breed that were like probably hard to fit in this world.
100%.
And so she very much was. She was actually going through a transgender transformation. They were giving her injection testosterone, which I didn't agree with her trauma history. So there's so many levels to this even, but she was
Wow.
suffering very, very greatly. And she's in a much better place. You're right when you said that earlier. But we
Yeah.
also had a storm come through on July 3rd once that knocked out our power for 3 days on Neptune retrograde. And so my message from Neptune was to turn away from some of the things I had going on. And the power came on as soon as something else came um, in my life. I was supposed to close one door and take a new path. And so
Right.
that's how those shocking events transpire in my life too.
Yeah. And I often wonder, when we have these shocking events that walk us down a path, it's like, we talk about free will and destiny. And I used to be very much a proponent of like, of course you have free will. Of course you do. Like that's even a question. And it was actually Logan on Decode Your Reality who made me sort of think about that even more. I'd always said that there's some sort of predestined component to it. Like, because why are some people's lives so screwed up? Why are they always in trouble? Why are they always, falling into the wrong relationships and the wrong problems? And other people are just fine. Like they coast through life, or they're super lucky, or the meteor hits their house and not the other person's. Like, what is that? And so there is some, I think there's definitely some, and I know there's some predestination to it. And you're going to go along the highest path, which we always talk about, which is ease. It's flow, right? Like you go into the job you're supposed to, you meet the person you're supposed to meet, you do everything you're supposed to meet. The people that live in flow and joy and bliss lead those kind of lives. And I wonder what comes first, the chicken or the egg, because I think people that tend to sort of worry spend their thoughts ruminating, sort of really worrying about the squares in their charts or the squares that are coming up. You know, are they creating the lesson for themselves?
Mm.
And it comes back to that whole thing of predicting death or predicting anything in the chart. I just don't think I would feel comfortable with coming at somebody with you're gonna get sick, you're gonna die on this date, you're gonna meet the person of your dreams on this date. I think the only thing that I could say for someone's personal chart is, you know, relationships are gonna be very powerful for you if you wanna go this direction, right? Like if you want, like if this was a person, for example, relationships are very powerful for this person. They've got like a grand mystic square here with Chiron, Jupiter, Mercury, and Pluto. Brutal honesty expands powerful healing. Like that's how you could read that. And that this person's going to have a relationship that hurts them, where they're going to be hurt by somebody that they deeply care about, so that they can feel this square. It's going to come through a raw truth, right? Like you can see that with that kind of square. Um, so that's about as specific as I might be able to get with somebody in terms of like pinpointing what's going on. You can get even more specific, like, okay, so relationship energy, what will that affect if you do someone's personal transits? So, like, if you say, okay, Chiron is squaring my natal Chiron, or I have a Chiron conjunct Chiron right now, or whatever, you can get even more specific with that kind of a reading in terms of where it might manifest. But that's as far as I can usually go.
I think that's pretty awesome, though. I think that you're just sharing so much with us that it's amazing. I'm very grateful. We're all very grateful.
Well, I'm grateful for you guys too.
I'll speak for all of us.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
What do
see.
you see in this chart?
Goodness,
This is
I
the
do.
Phoenix angle day, where the moon is right
Yeah,
here.
but
I could
it's
draw
not
it.
on there. I actually want to get your help doing the Prometheus, but you don't even have it right this second. But I think I tried to set it up, but I don't know if I did it right. If I'm seeing it, the golden
Oh
phoenix
yeah,
symbol.
yeah. You'll have to set. Yeah, there's a create a custom angle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly where that is, but
I know I had to go into settings and do edit,
Mhm.
copy it, and then edit. Michael walked me through the steps more than once, so I'm familiar with copying that
Okay.
and stuff, but I wasn't seeing it on a chart yet, so I'll just keep my eye out for it.
You also have to activate it too, because there's a place where you can activate different aspects. You can get all the way down to, like, what is it? The septiles and then the no-nos. Like, you can divide the chart up by 7, you can divide the chart up by 9. There's a whole bunch of different angles in that, software that you can add to your chart if you want to. But yeah, the geometry is so beautiful too sometimes. Like, it's so funny when beginners, they look at the middle, they're like, it just looks like a bunch of pickup sticks. And me, like, certain shapes kind of pop out sometimes. Like, I'll see the top of a pyramid, or I'll see, a tetrahedron, or even when we have the beautiful Merkaba that we had not too long ago. This was like yesterday or the day before. Let's see.
Yeah, I tried so
Right
hard to get
here.
your
There it
same
is.
settings for that double kite for the last moon, and I couldn't get it to come up on my end.
Oh, really?
You had 2
Let me-
kites. Well, my maiden last name is Kite by birth, and I have a kite tattoo
Right.
on
Yeah. Well,
my
here
back,
here it
so
is,
the
isn't it?
kite aspect really resonates with me on a deep
Yeah.
level.
When was that moon?
And the fact that it was like an eclipse, equinox, double kite, it felt really important.
Yeah, here it is. So, there's the double kite, the kite towards this was on the, lunar or solar eclipse. So there it is. Miss Kite.
Thank you, double kites. I
Yeah, and
appreciate that.
let's see what my settings were. It's, I have conjunctions at 8 degrees, oppositions at 8 degrees, squares at 8 degrees, trines at 6 degree or no, I think okay, squares and trines are 6 and 6, and then sextiles 3, quincunx is 3, and semisextiles 3.
Okay, I'll see that. I'll go play around with mine later.
Yeah, and
You
what we were looking at, guys, was called the orb of influence. And so if I made these smaller, like if I let's just play with this for a second. Let's make everything 1 degree. I'm going to show you the difference.
Yeah, Desiree and I were trying to play with it to find the 2 kites, but we couldn't get our settings right.
So see how few things are aspected when you have that
Mm,
1 degree orb.
mhm.
So when put back in my settings, you can get even bigger. Watch what happens when you get bigger. It
Like
gets to be
10.
too much. It gets to be too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we'll save that.
We do have a question in the chat too.
Okay, cool.
English chat with Lorna said, Dr. Dani and Heather, do you do anything with vertex and anti-vertex?
I
I'm
do.
still new in all the angles. That's where I'm learning. That's where I'm here to learn.
I do not. And if I recall, is anti-vertex like that second ascendant? If you can clarify for me, like it's your 12th or 11th house. Am I thinking the correct thing when you say that? Because there is a theory that if you have something in your 12th house, that's actually stronger than your first house. Like if you have a planet, sitting in the 12th house, there's a study done on people with Mars right there. They tend to be very athletic, high endurance, military types. And it's just something you see. And it's in the 12th house, which is weird. You would think that would be more of a first house energy, but just having like Mars in that first 2 hours of the daylight makes for a certain phenotype in terms of physicality.
Oh wow. And I'm really learning a lot with like the difference between the morning Venus, like your morning Venus and your evening Venus.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
I'm
it's
an
huge.
evening Venus.
It's huge. That all comes from her orbit. So if you look at the solar system,
That might be why I like yin yoga better. That's nighttime somatic slowing down yoga for the yin,
Mhm,
for
mhm.
the slow down.
Yeah, this so right now she's an evening star. So if we look at Earth as the sun is rising, Venus is first. So the Earth spins in this direction, and we see Venus first. But what will happen? And this is cool, guys. So if you want to kind of start linking into Venus's cycle, she is in basically the last 4 months, 3 months of her larger cycle. And if we go ahead and move it forward a few months, what you'll see is this perfect lineup with Venus, Sun, and Earth right around here. And that's the quietest, darkest Venus energy you could tap into right there. It's not that it's bad, it's just that it's not as strong. So it's the furthest away that Venus will be from Earth ever in her cycle. So she's way over there. And this is going to be a fun time in January, guys, because not only do we have like Mercury, Venus, Mars all together sort of starting a new cycle with the sun, you also have the new Sun Pluto cycle, and then there also will be a full moon and then a new moon right here around all of this. So January is going to be interesting. A lot of personal planets there in Sagittarius. But this is what I'm waiting for to start the next Venus cycle. And this right here will last 20 months. And about halfway through, when we get to Virgo season, in October, I don't remember the exact date, but there it is. There's the meetup between sister planets. You can't get closer than that with any other planet. Not even Mercury can get that close.
I think that's about the same time my progress Venus is going to go back into Taurus.
Yeah. So you see that? You see how the difference is? Why this Venus retrograde is such an intense time?
Mm-hmm.
And so every 20 months you get this alignment, and every 20 months you get the alignment where Venus is over here. And there's 10 months between this and this. And so for me, her cycle starts back here, and then she loops around, peaks in intensity, and then wanes away. So this is evening star, swelling, bursting, dispersing, reaping, tilling, and planting seeds. So we're in sort of the planting seed phase. Like this would be a great time to start thinking about like what your long-term creative projects might be. You know, what do you want to create? Venus is here to do whatever inspires you, whatever feels good in your body. And that's literally how you know you're doing it right. Because if you get the sensations of the glimmers or spirit chills when you're working on something, you're doing it right. Venus is saying, yes, do this, do that. And so you follow that thread. You work with it. You develop it as Venus moves through the constellations. And then by the time you get to the peak of the cycle, which will be right here, you should be seeing some sort of fruition, some sort of manifestation. The last time we had this alignment was back in March of 2025. The same, that's last year. There we go. That's the same alignment. This is when my book was finished, the Ophiuchus book. I birthed the book. I birthed that book that weekend, and it couldn't be stopped. Like I think I actually resisted writing for a very long time, because when this cycle began in June of 2024, this was when we had the first superior conjunction. I knew I wanted to, but I was like, I've really never written a book before. I mean, I've written things, but I don't know if I really want to get into all that. It's a lot of work. The editing stinks, but it just kind of kept calling me. And so I would organize my files and I would put them together, and then I'd go away and I'd walk away from it for a little bit, and then I'd do it again. And then people started asking me about it, and I kept saying, well, God, like I was like, ugh. And then as this cycle started to ripen, right around like January or so, I got a very powerful reading where someone told me that I'm supposed to be an author, and not just one, but 2 different readings. And I was also told prior to this moment that I'm supposed to be writing. And I was like, nah, okay. So then all of a sudden it broke for me. The dam broke open. I was missing appointments with clients. All I was doing was writing. I was not eating like I should. It was crazy. It was like something had overcome me. And just wrote it. It only took me about 3 or 4 weeks to get it all like collated and put together. And then I printed it all out, and then I laid it all on the floor and I organized it. And that's what I did that weekend. So that's what you can go through with these Venus cycles. So I think, as we approach January, if you're getting some kind of, like gut hit, some kind of, hey, maybe you should be doing this. I mean, you have time. It's a long cycle. You don't have to like perfect it or know exactly what it's going to look like. Because back in June of 24, I had no idea that there was going to be a book. I had no idea. it just sort of happened. And because I was like, all right, I'm just going to allow this, I'm just going to be in this energy and let it happen. That's precisely what happened. So January is a good time to sort of take a breath and say, all right, Venus, what will you like to? And it's really perfect too, because you've got Mercury starting a new cycle, which is also, this is where you want to, those shorter sort of quarterly type 3 to 4 month projects. You can certainly tap into Mercury as it makes its. This will be just a few days later. It's really not that far to wait, maybe a week. They're all lined up. And so a lot of energy around like, so what do you want to enact? What do you want to create? And how are you going to get it done?
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah. So all of that's aligning for us in January. So
Good.
for me,
That's about my nephew's birthday. He's
oh
the
yeah.
12th. January 12th. He's right downstairs. He's 4.
I think for me, I want to, I want to just expand into what I've already built, the structures that I want to find the souls that are looking for us, that are looking for this information. That's what I want to draw them towards our fields so that we can, get more people to understand it. I'm really waiting for that one person that has, like 500,000 people as their audience for it to click for them. And if it's me that gets them into it, cool. If it's Michael that gets them into it, cool. If it's you, I'm waiting for that one person,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
500,000 subs to start speaking
Right.
about True Sky Sidereal.
I keep dropping off moon transits in big astrology groups, just
Good.
regular ones,
That's so
just like
smart.
today's Ophiuchus one. Just surprise, everybody.
Yeah.
Here you go. And
I
see
love
what they
it.
have to say
No, that's
about that.
good. That's what I do too. I do it on Twitter and
Uh-huh.
YouTube. Like, the sun's not in Libra yet.
I
Not
joined like
yet.
a whole bunch of zodiac and astrology groups that are like, let's talk about real astrology. And so I just went and shared the Ophiuchus moon and I just plant the seed and leave. That's all I got to do. Just drop it. I don't need to argue with anybody. I don't need to prove anything. I just dropped it off and that's what I do.
I love it. I
So
love it. Do people respond to you? Do they?
Yeah, often. I'm getting a lot of people that are like, whoa, Ophiuchus. Like, and here's what I do too. I'm on like Earth Sky News and other things like that. So when they go talk about Scorpio, I said, next is Ophiuchus, the moon will be in Ophiuchus. So then all these people start getting all these likes because I just dropped like a truth bomb or something that maybe opened up a door to people without, and then I don't need to argue with them. I don't need to nothing. Like, it's just, I just drop it off and go about my day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
All right. So let's see. We're at 13322 right now when I just looked at there. So I don't want to keep us all night long, but let's see. How do
I don't see a lot of questions in the chat.
no,
But
one just got answered. They asked if January would be a good time to start, and you answered it before I could tell you that they asked.
yeah,
So it was
January is a perfect time
so you read their mind.
to start imagining right now. Like, that's what you need to do as the solstice approaches and as we come out of the solstice. Imagine what you want, and there's no shame in that. There's no harm in that. Whatever it is, just imagine it. What would make you happy? What would make your life better? What would make your life easier? And imagine it and see what happens.
Yep. Like I just started actually for this eclipse new moon, I started yoga teacher training. So
Nice.
I might be even wrapping that up by January and starting something even bigger. Who knows?
There you go. There you go. Yeah, this eclipse for me was I want to say like 4th and 10th house. So and it's been that way for a while with the eclipses. It's like 4th, 10th, 4th, 10th, homework, homework, homework. And the two are just been blending over the last couple of years. I'm kind of excited for the nodes to finally move into like a 3rd, 9th house energy for me because my house has gone through some major transformations. Energy of property, like buying and selling, how I show up at work, what kind of work I do. It's crazy. It's so crazy how the astrology just lines up.
It is amazing how it lines
Spooky.
up and falls together so
Mhm.
nicely. Like even with the moon moving into Ophiuchus at this moment.
That made me
I didn't
smile this
plan it.
morning. Yeah, when I saw where the moon was, I was like, I wonder if they planned that for
Me
the
too, because I
the
didn't
launch.
plan it whatsoever. But as I
Mhm.
was doing my charts, I was like, oh, the sun's going to be or the moon's going to be transitioning right into Ophiuchus.
Yep.
So, all right, let's see here. Um, you also weave phi sacred geometry. You kind of talked about this with your angle too, and decoding into your work. See, that's what I labeled the angle on Capricorn, but I'm going to have to play with some charts and see if it was. I named it with pi and give it that symbol. How does that connect with astrology? Have you already answered that?
What the golden
Yeah,
angle?
your phi as you weave phi sacred geometry and decoding into your work.
Yeah, so you can use the digits of phi as an alphanumeric cipher. So, if you have a word and you want to know the gematria of it, you can type it into that phi cipher and you will get a number. Those numbers can correspond to tarot cards, they can correspond to playing cards, they can correspond to dates, they can correspond to number of days in the year, they can correspond to another word that has the same number with it, right? So I think that's very interesting. Phi is created from the sequence of numbers called the Fibonacci sequence, where you basically add the previous two numbers together to get the next one. So you keep adding the previous number, the next number to get the next number, that number and the previous number to get the next number. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89. And that's the sequence. As you get further and further out, larger and larger digits, you're going to get a number that looks like 1.618. So that's pretty cool that there's this number that repeats itself in nature and it has a ratio that is an irrational number. So you can use that number to also find out where other strings of digits are. So you can take the whole long string of the phi irrational number and say, where's 25? Where does 25 live? Because I have a number over here that's associated with a word. So you can do that. Venus encodes phi with her cycles because she will orbit the sun 13 times in 8 years, creating a pentagram. So you have the 5, 8, 13 right there. And I think that so we normally work with a circle in astrology, right? But every time we go around the wheel, we're not in the same point in time. We're in a point in time that's farther along in the future. Like if this is 0 time and you're going up and this is the future, like you have your circle and you're going around and then you're going around and then you're going around. So what do you have there? You have a spiral, right? So the spiral, that's the key. And that's what phi encodes. It encodes a spiral geometry. If you take one of those stars that we draw, that star, you can go into the pentagram inside of it and draw another star. And then you go into that pentagram and draw another star. And draw another star, and draw another star. It goes all the way down to the Planck length. It's a repeating pattern at fractal levels. And so for me, that's just proof that there is some kind of intelligent code behind energy becoming matter. So so that's why I like the decoding. That's why I like numerology, because I think that's where synchronicities show up all the time for us. It's from our subconscious recognition of those patterns. So yeah, that's the work there. And it
I
opens
think
up a
that's
whole new level of understanding too.
Yep. And I've learned it with the numbers. It's a universal. Like I'm not gonna lie. I resisted numbers. I didn't want to know anything about numbers. I knew my daughter was trying to talk to me on her ascension date being 9/9, even with that meaning the end of a cycle and completion and things. But like I was actually having a lot of numerologists come at me trying to drill numbers and numerology into my head, and I was like traumatized and I was grieving and I didn't want to hear about numbers, and I'm really not that good at math, so I was resisting it. But now I've like it's really just coming full force, especially since I've jumped into stellar foundation.
Yeah. I see the number 137 everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, it's not 111 anymore. It's like, oh, what time should I set my alarm clock for? 137 or 7:13.
Yeah. Like I count, a lot of people say we made it to 800 subscribers on Facebook or something. I see them, and I say we made it to 888. We just went over 777. So I'm working with
Yeah.
the trip, which is why I'm on the 1313, just to keep it balanced. That's
Yeah.
why I'm there with that. So
Yeah.
the double numbers.
We
That's how
just
my.
we did just hit 666 on the Fellowship of 13 Signs last
Oh
week.
yeah.
Yeah, we broke over 666 right at our
Woohoo!
2-year anniversary. So
Good job.
yeah, yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah,
All
of
right.
course.
So you want to share just a little bit about Comet 3i Atlas because it's actually going to be coming very close to Mars on the 1st of October, I believe, like
Mhm.
right coming right up.
Oh yeah, this is amazing. This is why I know I am so happy to be alive. I mean, what an amazing time where we can see things like this in our sky. I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to go to star map.
Okay, let me get you share. Desiree has a question. Is the Phoenix angle only for the moon?
No, you can do it with
Wait,
anything.
what
In fact, I
happened?
encourage you to find the Phoenix angle with all
Can
of
you
your
share
planets.
again?
I'm going to
Sorry, I
go
think I clicked the
yeah.
wrong button. It was up
Um,
there and then it went away. Okay, here you
you
go.
see it? Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
clicked the wrong
encourage people
area.
to do um multiple analyses on any planet with it because the more, knowledge we can get collectively about it, we'll see if it's something that's worth like dealing with. Maybe it is something we want to research more. Maybe it is something we want to, or maybe it's just something that's interesting.
Yeah, I think like we're going into the month of Halloween, which is
Mhm.
also Domestic Violence Awareness Month, also Child Loss Awareness Month, if anybody knows that. And so this seems like a really significant as we're flipping our man-made calendars over to October.
What I love about this comet is that I it's affirming the cosmic healer's journey that's in my book. The middle part of the book is, the journey the clockwise journey that I told my mentor, and he's like, "Nah, don't tell people that." The comet's doing it. It's literally a fallen angel through Scorpio, and it went through the Hall of Records in Libra, and now it's like a piece of foreign cosmic DNA interloper entering the the body of Virgo. And when the sun and the comet are conjunct, they'll be right in the belly of Virgo. You see this right here.
Yeah. What day
After
is that?
passing Mars. So it's almost like I know this sounds like
0119.
weird, but it just seems like it's like a cosmic impregnation to me. Like
Wow,
like
yeah,
this is the soul coming in from the place of creation, where the veil's thin. This is source. It's coming through. It's a fallen angel. It's gone through Libra. It's picked its path. And so whatever we were working on during that eclipse season, that's the book we're writing, right? And then now it's here to sort of inseminate the virgin
yeah.
and become. And so once we get through Virgo, after it passes perihelion right here, let me go this way so we can see it a little better. Once it gets all the way through Virgo energy, we'll be able to see it again in the morning. And then
Wow.
and as it makes its closest approach to
Does that go
Venus.
right by Venus on Halloween?
Yes.
On Halloween?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
The Day of the Dead Halloween, Venus conjunction with the Atlas.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
And I don't know that we will be able to well, we might be because Venus will still be visible.
Early in
So
the
we might be
morning.
able to put a telescope on it there, but the comet will go all the way into Leo. Like December 3rd, I want to say, is when it moves into Leo. Let's see. Let's see if that's where it is. Yeah.
Teresa said, don't forget about the comet Swan. Also, it has a path trajectory to cross the Atlas path. And NASA issued a blackout for all observatories to not watch what happens on the other side of the sun.
Who knows what the hell's going on? I'm not even worried about it, because this comet does not feel like a bad omen to me.
No,
For
it feels
for
magical.
those of us that are tapped in and connected, in other words, not trying to control the narrative, not trying to scare people, like this could be good stuff. I'm just saying, like, we don't have to be afraid of it.
No,
Um,
don't be afraid.
right. So here in December, it's being reborn in the sign of the child. Like this Virgo Leo cusp for me is birth. This comet is rebirthing something. Something's being born here. So I think like mid-December, something's going to be born. Now I could be wrong. This comet could be a harbinger of doom. I don't feel that. Like when I kind of feel into what it is, I feel like it's an energy that is giving a lot of people hope, regardless of what they actually think it is. Because I watched people's reaction to it over the last month, and there are people that you know equate it with the golden timeline convergence, which is pretty cool. There's people that equate it with the aliens finally coming, and that's pretty cool. I'm seeing my cosmic healer's journey in it. It's talking to me. Like this comment is talking to me about the story that I teach. So for me, it's like huge. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Um, and I wish more people were interested in terms of astrology, because a lot of people are like, "What comment?" Like if you're an astrologer, you need to know about this comet. That's like our
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
That's our job to know about it.
Yeah.
Maybe not the ones that are just kind of swooping through, or maybe we do need to know about these other constellations as the comets move through those. It might be something to start looking at. But for me,
Yeah.
it feels very synchronistic and very very related to karma, but not in a bad way. I
Yeah.
feel like it's bringing me a gift, a new
Yes.
energy.
And I think that's a really good way to look at it as a gift. And like especially for me, as I was like really tuned in when you said it was coming close to Mars, and then when I went back and looked at October 1st, and I was like, then it hit me, that's Child Loss Awareness Month. I actually just heard like an
Right, so it's
electronic
speaking to you through
date.
the same
Yes.
mechanisms. It's
I
amazing. There's people that are doing, like, these orbital frequency mathematical decodes on it, and it's all clicking for them through
yes.
phi, actually. So they're finding phi in this comet.
Yes,
Amazing,
absolutely.
amazing.
Connected. All right. So, all right, let's see here where we're going. Um, what do you feel that comet's teaching us as it travels through the zodiac? If it's going from, what did you say, the Golden Gate to the Silver Gate?
Mhm.
So
It's
it's a
I
a
think it's
good,
teaching us the soul's journey.
yes,
That's
the
what I think.
hero's
I
journey.
think it's teaching us the cosmic healer's journey. Like,
Yep.
you're an awakened soul, here's where you come from, here's where you're going.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's time. I think, you know what I did get out? I just found my book while you were going over that. The Hands in Louise Hay's book, Heal
Uh-huh.
Your Body.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
These are mental causes for physical illnesses, how to, and the metaphysical way to overcome them. Said, our hands hold and cradle,
Mhm.
clutch and grip, grasping and letting go, just like you said, caressing, pinching, all ways of dealing with experiences. So the affirmation for that is, I choose to handle all my experiences with love and with joy and with ease. So I think that still would be with the lesson with letting go. Like mine feel like they're like even swollen, like my knuckles, they've been like, feel like they're
Right here,
swollen.
like, right here.
Oh, yours are
Yep.
right in there. Yeah. Mine feel like right in there. And well, mine are at the tips. Interesting that we both have some pain going on. So let's see here. Let's talk about stellar foundations for just a minute, because we got to talk
For
about
sure.
that and your book.
Okay.
Well, your first book.
Right, right.
Can you tell us about how stellar foundations came about and what is your goal with it?
So, yeah, I want it to be a spot for people to land that sort of get that revelation. Like, I want them to when they realize it on their own by however whatever mechanism, and they search, they find a space that they can come and that they can, work it out, figure it out, no matter what level they're at. So, like, if you're into astrology, obviously you just found out something, so you have a little bit of background, but maybe that revelation made you want to learn it. Or maybe you've been doing tropical forever and you want to like figure out how to incorporate your tropical knowledge into this kind of framework. And it's really what it's become. I mean, I feel pretty good about the journey that I'm offering, because as if you start in Scorpion, you go clockwise and you land in Ophiuchus with that journey, you're not doing a circle, you're doing the spiral. Ophiuchus can take you up to the next level, and then you can be reborn in the next loop. And then you could, but each time you're ascending, you're getting better and better and better. And some of you may even be on your last loop, or maybe you did your last loop that you had to do, and maybe you came back but forgot. And so what's happening is the people that have gone through that, they're reading that idea, that journey, and they're like, holy smokes, that's me. It clicks for them too. They're like, oh, that's it. Okay. Now that I know where I'm supposed to go, okay. I want people to feel like they're not crazy, even the ones that had normal muggle lives like I did, like, it's okay. Like, you can be a little bit magical if you need to be. It's
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah. And embrace that. I think it's real important, like what you said earlier, even with this transit that was going on, about embracing our rage, and being able to express ourselves. Even Julie said something the other day about Jupiter and Gemini needs to expand to see all sides from a different perspective. So, like, if we're all going through that, especially with everything going on the media and things, to not to have a response to it and be aware of it, but not get emotionally attached to it. You see what I mean? And so, kind of the way you handled the Tylenol situation, you had a response to it, but you didn't like go ballistic about it. You just had something to say, and you had to plant your seed too. So to alleviate
I've
the
realized since then that I don't care anymore. I'm
yeah,
tired of
yeah,
fighting.
yep,
I'm
yep,
not, that's not my space. It does not bring me joy. It just brings
yeah,
me like anxiety and anger. And so it's up to the ladies. If they want
yeah,
the Tylenol, they may have it. I think it is safe. But if they do not want it, that is also fine. We'll figure
yep,
something else out.
yep. Yep, and there's all kinds of either other natural alternatives too. So
Yeah.
that was just like there's just things in life that we go, I do not know what just happened. Everything just went small. All right, so let's see. We've got that's really great. I think you have put together a an amazing platform, program, website, all of it. You've got a wealth of information. I'm still going back over the aspects
There's a
because
lot
I
in
have,
there, right? I mean,
yeah,
there's all those video modules with the
yeah,
basic techniques, then there's the planetary videos, then there's the meditations in there. Each planet, each constellation gets a curated meditation by me, and so it's researched, it's medicine for your non-thinking brain. And I love them. I love my meditation so much. I even listen to them from time to time,
yeah,
just to get into the zone again. And then you also have the book comes with the course, and then there's all the resource documents. So everything we've downloaded over the last couple of years is all documented and recorded in those resource documents. Plus, since we've done Stellar Foundations, this is the third time, there's like repeat office hours videos that you can check out and kind of see what people are lighting up about. And really the prerequisites module, like the first 6 or 7 hours of all those video modules, is free. Like, you can go over there and just sort of check it out
mhm,
and see if you like my teaching style. And if you do, then and you can at least understand what's being taught there. That's how the whole thing is. It's nothing complex. I don't think it is. Like, I don't think I go over really concepts that are too difficult. And the ones that are difficult, I reaffirm them during our office hours, and I show you guys actually how to
yep,
use it easily. So I think it's super helpful. And really, my favorite office hours is Ophiuchus. Like, when we talk about that at the end, because that's just like, that's when it all comes together, and you're like, I'm home now. I'm here, and now I feel good. I feel like I understand the journey, and I think it gives you so much more compassion, and you move through the world like led by your heart rather than your brain trying to figure everything out.
yeah. And you put an amazing book together about it, because I remember when I first found Ophiuchus, it was over 10 years ago, and I didn't want to even accept Aries. So I just literally rejected the idea. I acted like it just didn't even happen. I said, this doesn't exist. I denied it. And I kept on moving, being a Taurus. Until later, it was right before COVID, 2019, is when I found Athen, Master in the Zodiac,
Mhm.
and started looking at the sky. And that's when I found raw stars partner's website that was information about Neptune and Ophiuchus. And when I realized mine was in Ophiuchus and I had a Scorpio midheaven and I was actually an Aries Pisces sun, all the water and my love for water and needing water in my life started like really making sense. And I was like, wow, this, like, I wasn't so angry. I was angry because at first, like, I have a Taurus tattoo on my right foot. So I was like stomping mad and didn't want to even think about Aries at all because that's a big cluster of feelings when you've got
Yeah.
something tattooed on your skin. So it really opened the door right before COVID. And that's when I started like, all right, let me look at the sky. And then I was like, wow. And so I went ahead and read some of your stuff in your book that's online on part of the Stellar. I got it in the Acrobat part. I even downloaded it on Amazon, but then I'm like, you know what? I want the real book. So I was like, this is really, really good information about Neptune.
You got the actual paperback?
Yes, I want an actual paperback that
Yeah.
I can read in my bed and fall asleep with it right on me with no electronics in my hand whatsoever if I want to. So, yeah, I do sleep with books sometimes.
Yeah, I do too.
That's how it goes.
Sometimes it'll just
So,
osmosis into your brain.
yes,
That's how I studied
yes.
medical school.
So, what inspired you to write that? That's my next question. We got just a few questions left.
It was just this journey. I mean, I'm not even sure. I think I was just being used, you know what I mean? Like the way that the story came into me was through I was fasting for 3 days or, just for me it's not like completely not eating, but it's like I just don't, and I'll sip water, maybe have a little grape here and there but it after 3 days it like just poured into my head at 3 in the morning. And I'm sitting there with my iPad just whoa, 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 like, whoa, okay. It was the first time I had ever had a download like that. Like that. Like, I mean, I've had inspiration before, but that just was so powerful and felt like otherworldly and amazing. And then I'm like, yeah. And that was when I was like, hey, teacher, what do you think of this? It's like, okay, I can see you're lit up, but you shouldn't tell anybody. I was like, okay.
Oh, that was
But
the
to me,
whole
it was,
experience with it.
but to me, it was so true. It was like, okay. So I kind of sat on it for a little bit. And one of the things that I offer on part of my services is the new baby life journey. So let me tell you the baby's story based on this soul's path. And you use the signs and the houses just like they're laid out, but you just go in a different direction. And you tell the story of how the soul grows up, where the soul makes a realization. And it's interesting because certain placements can affect things. Like if somebody's got a whole bunch of stuff between Virgo and Leo, there might have been something really interesting about their birth. If they have a lot of energy in Gemini, they may have some inappropriate programming if it's badly aspected. They might have some very limiting beliefs in the Gemini space. So things like that. You can just kind of go through that. Pisces is the dark night of the soul or the great awakening. So their awakening mechanism, awakening to who they are and their godlike self happens in Pisces. That happens in Pisces. You get your faith back. You take the duality and you merge it into one. And that's not a process that has words. I can't describe to you what that means for me. Like I can give you pretty words around it and I can paint pictures for you, but I can't really explain it to you unless you've been able to create that unity in your own mind. And so what's in Pisces? What if you have Chiron in Pisces? What does that mean? What if that's in your 11th house? Well, for me, my awakening came from realizing that I had a wound of banishment. So guess what I get to do while I'm studying Ophiuchus? Get banished. How cool is that? Right? I get to be banished so that I can experience that Chiron wound. I get to feel that again in this real life, not as bad as it was in a previous existence or whatever, but I get to say, okay, that's what it feels like to be banished from your tribe for having secret knowledge that no one wants to hear or they're afraid to hear. So that was pretty cool. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
That was your gift to start in your direction. That was your
Yeah.
gift to open up the door for your teaching because it took off, that and that was your gift that you were supposed to share.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a social person, like, I'm not a complete introvert, but I'm if there's a whole bunch of hooping and hollering going on and it's 10 o'clock at night, I'm not into that. Like, I like to have my space, I always have, and to be out there in the public to show my face is weird. It was weird for me. It's not weird now, it feels
Mhm.
completely natural, but before it was like, "This go on, put my face on YouTube what?" What?
That's how I felt. Mine was I had stage fright. I used to faint getting in front of people. So
Oh my
I think
gosh.
this is like maybe this is a part of our growth and evolution is that we were meant to get up because I tell people I couldn't imagine ever getting up on stage before and I had to get coached into it and it's like you were geared in the right direction to get up here and share.
Yeah. So yeah, you just kind of stop taking yourself so seriously.
Mhm.
Stop holding on to the identity that you think you are. You're whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
You're whatever you want to be. So
So you're working on other material as well, or you just
yeah.
completed? What else you got going on?
I got my rough draft of the Venus frequency finished. It'll be about 90,000 words, I think. And I'm giving you everything. You won't have another question about Venus.
All right.
You're gonna have the divine archetypes throughout mythology. You're going to have Venus is Phi. You're gonna have Venus rules Virgo. You're gonna have how to decode Venus in your own chart. Then you're going to have all the reference material you need for any placement in the natal chart or in transit. So if you look at your chart, you go, "Oh my God, Venus is squaring my moon today." You can go Venus and Moon square transit to natal, and you can read that from my voice,
Yeah, and
like
you'll
as
get
if
it.
I were reading your chart.
Yeah,
So yeah,
awesome. Well, we look forward to that. I know everybody's looking forward to it.
it's
I
the
learned
editing
so much.
process. My
Yeah.
my my editor is going to be at a different location for the next couple of months working on our new house, but I'm hoping we can get some editing done. If anybody is like good at editing and wants to kind of like help me, like not to read it and go, "That's amazing." I want you to read it and go, "You could do this better." Like if there's anybody out there that wants to help me with that, that'd be cool. You
Okay.
guys can reach out by email and let me
That's good to
know.
know.
Some people are not good at editing and some people are. So if you have that in mind with like helping me improve the quality of the writing and to make it legible for the reader and understandable, especially if you know astrology, that would be wonderful. I can't pay you, but
I would
I'll
be.
love you. I'll love you. I'll appreciate you.
Well, it's really good to have somebody look at eyes because sometimes
Mhm,
there's a misspelling or something like
mhm.
which we have word correctors now, but still, sometimes there is something that could be a different word or whatever. So that would be good. I would even be open to that if you need help with that.
Okay,
So,
cool.
okay, so we are gonna probably wrap this up if you want to.
All right, yeah.
Are you tired after
I am
yours?
tired. Yeah, it's
Okay,
been a
so
long day.
yeah,
I've been on these earphones for 7 hours, I
I
think.
bet you might have a sore in your ear
So I'll wake up
after that.
tomorrow with like crinked hands and like I can't hear and
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll wrap this up. I've got a couple of questions and then we'll do our little ending. So, for those who are new to your work, what is the best first step they can take to connect with your teachings?
YouTube, the YouTube channel. This is like hot off the press. The stuff I'm contemplating from moment to moment. It's usually if I'm not doing anything for a couple of days, it's because I'm working on something, and then you'll see it. So that's kind of how I flow, and it's part of my own learning process to learn how to teach better, to get new concepts through this brain of mine and give it to you so that you can use it. And so the YouTube's probably the best place to go. It's not as organized as I'd like it to be, my YouTube channel, in terms of like, here's where you can go to find this, or here you can go to find that. I feel like with astrology transits, it's kind of hot and then the transit happens and then it's gone. But what I try to do with each of my transit readings is give you a lesson that the sky is teaching us. I don't know if you noticed that, but like something will stir me about a certain transit or a certain aspect, and I'll say, what's the lesson there? And I'll feel the lesson and I'll say, okay, what's the remedy then? And so sometimes really cool things come up. Like for the coming full moon, we have an amazing kite formation where the kite is the fun part of the kite is in Leo with Venus. So it's Venus South Node and Leo, and it's the top of the kite. And it just feels very playful and very, very fun. But um, when you look at the South Node or the North Node, which is where we're supposed to be going, right? So the South Node, Venus, the fun part of the kite, and then the North Node is where we're supposed to be going, is the Neptune and the Saturn, the responsibility, the sort of the devotion, the practice, the spirituality. So it came to me as enjoy the show, because you're going to be tempted to do things that are very comfortable, very easy, and very fun, and get distracted with it. But you have to hold it. You have to hold the string of the kite. So wherever that north node is, whatever house that falls in, that's sort of like what you need to stay for. Like, enjoy the show, whatever you see, whatever makes you smile, whatever brings you back to the nostalgia. That's cool. But it's like, it's not this is kind of like a fake kite. The kite's trying to distract us into too much fun, where we'll get distracted from our course. And so just stay focused. That's the message of that one. So every time I do a YouTube video, that you'll get that a lesson. You can also go to learn.drdani.com. That's where all the classes I've ever done are there. If you have trouble deciding what to pick next, just email me and tell me what your goals are, and I can help you with that. This year coming up, not right away, but like probably in January, I'm going to open up the one-on-one mentorship thing. I'll be taking on maybe 1 or 2 people over the seasons. So like maybe like the first 4 months will be 1 or 2 people. The next 4 months will be 1 or 2 people so that they can work like really close with me. And maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe kind of branch out like that, and like receive their help so that they can help me teach the things, like I can present without, or I can teach without presenting is
Right.
I think the message I'm getting. So there's that. And then of course, if you want a reading or a forecast, there's drdani.com, and everything's on there, as well as
And I got all your links down in the description
Thank
box.
you.
Not to Twitter and things. I did Facebook, YouTube, your website.
Oh yeah, I have like 38 followers on X, so it's not a big reach. But
Okay.
Rumble,
Yeah.
I'm also on Rumble, but that's mostly to document my live streams in case something happens on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I have 98 followers over there on Rumble, so that's
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And the girls here, our girls, our moderators, Desiree and Lori, have been very graciously sharing all your links too. So those are in the chat, which will be available later after it goes through the algorithm or whatever, AI. So last question here then. What do you hope people take away from learning astrology in the Live Sky 13 sign way?
It's the as above, as above, so below, so within, so without. What you're seeing up there is what's happening inside you. We're quantumly connected, spatially, fractally, holographically coded, and part of everything that we see in the sky. And it's slowed down, and it's exploded and magnified so big so that we can pick it apart into each little tiny detail. And so I think if you really want to know yourself, look up at the real sky, see where your planets are.
I think that is very wise wisdom. And don't get mad when you see the sun somewhere where it says it was in tropical.
Especially if you already have a tattoo.
Yes, especially.
Because you probably have somewhere in your chart where you will still identify with your Leo. Like, I'm not a Leo sun anymore, but I got Mars.
Yeah.
I got Mars in Leo.
My
so.
Venus is in Taurus, and my progressed sun is comfortably in Taurus right now. So it literally is like right there. So, and I can embrace that. And my Ceres, I do believe, is Vesta. Vesta's also in Taurus, the asteroid. So, all right. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and light with us
Thank
today.
you. I so enjoyed talking to you.
It was wonderful. Yeah, this is really good energy. I think our Mars and Leo bumps energy together very nicely. It's a fiery energy and more sparkly than some things. So, from medicine to astrology, from Venus to Ophiuchus, you've given us a beautiful reminder that the universe is alive, intelligent, and guiding us at every step. For everyone watching, you can follow Dr. Dani on YouTube and Facebook under Dr. Dani, Physician Astrologer, to dive deeper into her teachings, her Venus forecast, and her work with stellar foundations. As always, thank you, Soul Tribe, for being here in the Cosmic House of Healing. May you walk away feeling inspired, guided, and supported by the stars. Until next time, keep shining and keep remembering who you truly are. If you have anything else to say, you can say it now, or I've got a very short, so if anybody's got anything to say, please speak now or forever hold your peace. And mine's just a short little outro. It's not 1 whole minute long, so it's a short one. And I
All
thank you
right.
all.
We'll just say goodbye. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Namaste, my loves. Take
It's an
care.
honor to see you today and
too.
have you on at the have the show and then at the International Sidereal. That was wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.